Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of New York Giants football talk. Season's almost here. It's the week before the start of the season, so let's get the ball rolling. But uh, rumor has it, the rumor's out that one of us on this panel, either me in my red K&K sports shirt or Paul in his Broncos Russell Wilson shirt, is celebrating a birthday today, a 40th birthday. It's not me. A little hint, it's not me because I'm 50, so it must be the guy to my right, my brother, celebrating his birthday. Happy 40th birthday, Mr. Paul Rosen.
uh, Thank you, Kenny. Kenny is right. I am celebrating a birthday. I wish it was 40 again, but let's just say it's my 30th time celebrating my 40th birthday. Hi, everybody. Good evening. Glad you can join us all tonight.
Yeah, there's a couple of hellos. We'll get a hellos in. Our backstage producer, our great friend from our friend up north of the border, Mr. Graham. Graham's on there backstage saying, "Hello, Kenny and Paul." Whoa, Paul, not expecting that jersey. Happiest of birthdays, Paul. And Mr.
Thank you,
Kurt
Graham.
Valenti also saying, "Happy birthday, Mr. Rosen." Look at that jersey, baby.
Hey, listen, let me just say for the record on public uh, uh, podcast, thank you, Mr. Valente. You are the man. You promised that you would be sending us jerseys. And how could I not wear this fabulous number 3 with the Wilson on the back? And I told you I would wear it for every Giants game. And I want to thank you publicly tonight. You came through as you said you would. So I wear this jersey proudly.
Kurt, I want to know when Paul gets his possible birthday present from me, a Jackson Dart jersey, is he going to live up to the Russell Wilson still every game, or is he going to sneak in a the start of every game? He said, maybe Jackson Dart comes in the second half for a change. And there's a
Second string jersey.
second string jersey, and that jersey's getting a lot of popularity right out of the gate. There's Jody Moncrief from our good friends over at the Denver Broncos
Jody,
Roundup. Giants country, let's ride.
that's right. You're right, Jody. Uh, Shaking my head about last night, but you know what? Here come the Irish. We'll fight back after last night. And congratulations, Kenny. Have to give it to you. You really played well. Good game for you guys.
Yes, in my next trip, I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything. I'm not gonna rub it in. My next trip up, I will bring a green and orange K&K Sports Show shirt for Paul to wear because that was our little bet. I was gonna wear gold and blue. Paul
Uh-huh.
was gonna wear green and orange, so he's gonna have to wear green and orange on my next visit up north.
No
Jody as
problem.
well. Jody as well out there. We made a bet too. So no, it was a great game. We got either team could have won it. Like Paul said, I think both teams got a really good chance of being in the playoffs. So, that being said, it's only one game. It happened at the beginning of the season, but great game all around, in my opinion. A couple more comments. Graham hopes that Russ does well for us until Dart is ready. Uh, and Jody saying about your Notre Dame quarterback is going to be the real deal, CJ Carr. So,
Yep. He's going to drive us to the championship.
with that being said, Paul, this is a Giants show, so let's get into our Giants topics of the night. But we do have, I should say, an NFL topic before that. So, birthday boy, take it away.
All right. Well, maybe the trade of the year had come down last Thursday. And I have to say, Mr. Valente called it. He said that Micah was going to get traded, and sure enough, the next day he was. I have to give him credit for that. Don't get too don't let your head get too swelled up, Kurt. But needless to say, the Dallas Cowboys traded Micah Parsons, and Kenny. The only thing I can say is Jerry. He's not going to be Jerry Jones anymore. You know what he's going to be in my book? I'm going to start calling him Jerry Ego. Jerry Ego. That's his new last name because to me, The only reason they traded, and you can argue with me, you can tell me TJ Watt, you can tell me Myles Garrett, you can tell me Trey Hendrickson, but when you trade the best defensive player in the NFL to the Packers, what the hell are you thinking? Okay? There's no way that you trade a guy like Micah Parsons. I'm sorry. And again, as Bill Belichick once said, no one ever compares, you can't compare anyone to Lawrence Taylor. But if you want to say anyone is comparable to a modern day Lawrence Taylor, it's Micah Parsons. Would the Giants ever consider trading Lawrence Taylor? And the answer obvious is no. So, you know what? Jerry Jones's ego got in the way of their best player. And let me just say this. You gave out contracts to some players on your team. Okay, CeeDee Lamb, let's put him aside. You gave the most ridiculous contract to a quarterback. And I know this league is a quarterback-driven league, but, and pardon me for saying this, but you gave a ridiculous $240 million contract to Dak fucking Prescott, $60 million a year. You're paying this guy, and you're not going to pay Micah Parsons, the best defensive player in the NFL. What the hell are you thinking? And we'll get into it on Wednesday on our show. The four of us will talk about the winners and losers. But as far as we're concerned tonight, what the hell are you doing, Jerry? That's all I have to say.
Yeah, since it's Paul's birthday, we are a kids show. We'll allow that one F-bomb from Paul that slipped out. But we are a kids show, so hold your ears, kids, at the 8-minute mark. I'm kidding, but we have those slip-ups once in a while. It's all good. I'm going to get my thoughts in, and then I want to hit the chat because they're responding to it, and I got some more hellos for you, Paul. My friend Keith Brugman and I, we started a new show this morning called The Morning Juice, and Keith's in the comments, and I'm going to get to them in a second. And Keith alluded to this in his comments. Jerry Jones needs to go. And Keith said as an owner, unfortunately, I don't think he's going to go as an owner until he passes away, let's say, like George Steinbrenner. Mm-hmm. But he needs to give up those GM duties and hire a GM, because not only did he trade away the best defensive player in the NFL, which you alluded to as would we ever trade Lawrence Taylor? He traded him to the Green Bay Packers, who beat them the last 2 years in the playoffs. Now, what's going to happen if you ever face them in the playoffs again? You're going to have Micah Parsons breathing down your Dak Prescott. He'll be in the backfield a dozen times that game. So for that moment alone, I wouldn't do that. You know, trade him one, but then you trade him to an NFC contender is what really got me. And like Kurt said, Green Bay stole him. I agree, because those first-round picks are really not going to be first-round picks when you look at it. They're going to be most likely in the mid to high 20s, maybe even 30 to 32, because Green Bay is now a legit contender in the NFC with that one move, and a shot at the Super Bowl at that one move. So we're going to see. I think it was a huge mistake. My winners in this, Paul?
Well, you know what? Let's talk about that on well, go ahead. I was going to say
we
can talk
got
about
different
it.
audience. We'll talk about it again on Wednesday.
Yeah, go ahead.
My winners in this trade that's why I'm bringing it up, is the Giants, Paul.
Yeah.
You know, there's other teams, and we'll talk about those other teams on Wednesday that won this, but the Giants are huge winners. We saw what Micah Parsons did week 1 against Daniel Jones last year. I think he was in the backfield every game with Evan Neal starting. So get him out. See ya. Have fun with him, Carson. We'll have fun with Carson on Wednesday. with his
Yeah.
Lions, and at least he's got Penei Sewell on that line. But still going to be nightmare for those NFC North teams, and we'll get into that on Wednesday. But some hellos, Paul, and some comments. Keith Brugman in his best Marilyn Monroe voice. With the beard, I don't know. That'd be a little
Right.
scary singing Keith, your Marilyn Monroe voice with your beard would be a little scary singing "Happy Birthday" to Mr. Rosen. But
Love
all
it.
fun. Again, we started a new show, Morning Juice, Monday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, 7 a.m. Mountain Time. Go check us out. It's a football show. You like football, go check us out. We're having a good time doing it. We enjoyed it this morning. Very successful debut show today.
Thank you, Keith.
I got a question from Graham we're going to hit before we hit our first topic, but Mark Calderio also saying hello, and his son is a Packer fan, and he's fired up that Parsons is going to the
Oh,
Packers.
hey, Mark.
Kurt, I want to know about your nephew who likes the Packers. Maybe he could fill us in on how fired up he is to have Micah Parsons. I know the kids are probably ready to get those Micah Parsons jerseys. Keith saying Reggie White might have been the biggest name traded. That was also Packers, if you think about it.
Well, I think Reggie White actually signed a free agent. The Packers signed him through free agency. He wasn't actually traded, so that's the difference.
Yep. Roy, our good friend Roy Osborne, saying happy
Hey, Roy.
birthday, Paul.
Thank you so much, Roy.
And Roy, didn't I see you this morning, Kenny, or am I dreaming? No, you saw us. It was the morning juice, and here I am for the evening version, the New York Giants football talk with my birthday brother, Paul. And the season's around the corner, Paul.
Yes, sir.
Let's get Graham's question in. Graham wants to know, are we surprised that Dulcich was let go?
You want to go first, or should I go?
I'll let you go first. I'll give you the
Okay.
honor.
Yes, I thought he would definitely be on the team. I think they kept Bellinger because Theo Johnson has some type of injury. Giants are being very secretive about it. So I think rather than cut Bellinger, they wanted to make sure they had a guy that maybe can both block well and be a receiving threat. So I think that's why they kept Bellinger and let go of a guy who certainly had a great preseason, and we all thought he was going to make the team. But because he's sort of a one-trick pony, more of a receiver as opposed to a blocker, I think that's why they did ultimately let him go.
Yeah. I'm not gonna add too much more to that. We talked about it today. It makes sense if Theo Johnson is hurt. Like you said, Greg Dulcich is the wide receiver type tight end. Daniel Bellinger's probably the next all around guy we got. So Daniel Bellinger stays if the Theo Johnson injury is a little more serious than we're thinking. So I agree there. Good friend from Hawaii. Aloha, Patrick.
Hey, Patrick.
Rooksy's saying hello. Good luck. Hoping we both go far in the playoffs this season. Patrick's a Broncos fan. Is it okay? I want the Broncos to go a little further, though. Patrick, I would hope you would want those Broncos to go a lot further than the Giants. But thank you. If my team isn't there, I want the Broncos to go far. Of course, I'm rooting for the Giants to go all the way. But if the Giants aren't there come week 17 and the Broncos are fighting for it, I'm going to root for the Broncos. But if the Giants are there, it's Giants all day for me.
Kenny, if I can just interject, you know what's scary? Next year will be 40 years that the Giants and Broncos played in that Super Bowl.
Wow.
Super Bowl 21. How crazy is that?
Show lined up for that one for sure.
Really? Definitely.
Yes, some guests and all. And Patrick, I'm gonna text you after the show tonight. I got those gifts lined up for you. They're gonna be getting sent out. You should have some by the end of the week. And we already got some lined up for your second shipment. So I'm gonna hook you up with Patrick collects NFL hats, so we're gonna hook him up because he always hooks us up, Paul. So we got some nice stuff lined up for him.
Yep.
Giants coming your way, Patrick. That's why we're mentioning it now. It's a Giants show. So we got something Giant stuff lined up for you, my friend, and other stuff. And there's Clayton saying hello.
Hey,
Smash that
Clayton.
like button and share. Paul's wearing his Russell Wilson Giants/Broncos jersey, celebrating his birthday. Everybody who's just coming in, 40 years young today. So happy birthday again, Paul. Well, let's get into the show. Paul, great intro, great comments. Keep them coming, everybody. Keith asking how we're feeling about the secondary. We're about to get into that, Keith. We're going to rank our groups, so we'll answer your question in our first segment tonight. And it's ranking our second segment, I should say. We talked about Micah Parsons, but now it's time to talk about the Giants, Paul. So back to you.
Okay. So we looked at the Giants team, and we thought we'd have some fun ranking each of the positions. And what we did was we broke down the offense and defense, obviously quarterback, running back, tight end, wide receiver, O-line. We also broke down the defense, D-line, outside linebackers, inside linebackers, the secondary, cornerbacks, defensive backs, and safeties. And I threw in special teams. So what we're going to do is rank them from the best to the worst. Okay, 1 through 10 or 11, depending on how many we have. So Kenny, why don't you start? What would you rank as your top number one position on the Giants?
Easy, and it's going to be the strength of the Giants, so they're going to be worth mentioning here for a couple minutes. I'll do mine short, but I'll give you some time as well. It's the edge, the outside linebackers, and when you talk about outside linebackers history, you got LT, you got Carl Banks, you got Justin Tuck, just to name a couple, of the great Giant edge rushers that we've had recently, and of course in our past. So this year you got Brian Burns back. I think Brian Burns is going to have a monster year. I think he came into a team last year, came from the Carolina Panthers to a new defensive scheme with the Giants, and he was solid last year. He was above average, but I think he can even provide more this year. And I'm expecting big things from Burns, and I'm expecting Pro Bowl year from Burns. Opposite Burns, you got Kayvon Thibodeaux, and again, just like I said with Burns, I'm expecting better things from Kayvon Thibodeaux this year. That was my guy from day one when they drafted him, and very excited about him. And I think Kayvon is the guy being overlooked on this edge rusher, linebacker, outside linebacker group because of our first round pick at pick 3, Abdul Carter. And we finally get to see if the preseason hype, the draft hype, his college hype, finally get to see if it's for real come regular season, come real game time, Sunday 1 p.m. versus the Commanders. I'm expecting him to force a little havoc on Jaden Daniels right out of the gate, and super excited about that. Those 3 guys alone. If you want to throw in Chauncey Golston, who's going to be versatile on both sides, I'll throw him in as an edge rusher as the 4th guy. You bring him over from Dallas. I don't think there's a better 3 to 4 guys in the NFL. So that has to be my number one group, and I'm going to give them the time they deserve. So there's my group. There's my A+ group for the Giants.
Okay, I love it. You hit the nail on the head with the little thumbnails of all of them.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I want to add Keith's question to this because I'm pretty sure yours is going to be outside linebacker too. How does your outside linebacker room rank across the NFL? If not the best, top 3.
I would agree. I'm going to slightly disagree with you. I'll tell you, I had them number 2, but I had the D-line as my number 1 strength, only because Dexter Lawrence, in my opinion, is the best interior lineman in the NFL. He was ranked 17th by Pro Football. They have their top 100 players, the highest defensive player ever rated by the Giants. And of course, this rating, these top 100 players have only been, I think, the last 10 years or so that they've been ranked. But that being said, the fact that Dexter Lawrence was ranked 17th out of the whole NFL top 100 players says to me they respect him and they know what kind of player he is. And of course, my expectation is that the guys playing with them also will be upgraded. Roaches, Hakeem is going to be very good. I expect Darius Alexander to really make an impact, and so that's why I felt the D line was going to be number one, but the outside linebacker was my number two. Who was your number two?
My number two, defensive line.
Okay.
I got it. I respect your answer, but until we can stop the run, and we had struggles last year against the run, I can't put that group number one.
Okay.
Dexter Lawrence is Dexter Lawrence. He might be the best in the NFL, like you said. He's right there with Chris Jones. 1A, in my opinion. And, I'm not being biased. I'm a Giants fan. It's him and Chris Jones, and then everybody else below them. After that, you got question marks at stopping the run. I know my outside linebackers are going to get to the quarterback. Is my defensive line going to stop the run? That reason alone, Dexter Lawrence elevates that defensive line to number two. That's how good he is. But after that, I'm a little concerned, and we need to stop the run. That's why they're not number one. But I respect your number one rating.
Okay.
I will say that.
Good points. Very good points.
Let me get another hello out before you go.
Yeah, go ahead.
Eddie Murphy, hello. Gentlemen.
Eddie.
Did you finally get your Rush jersey, Paul?
What are you looking at, Eddie?
And he's saying teams are going to double team Dexter every game, making Burns, Thibodeau, Carter show they can win one-on-one. So I just want to get that hello in from Eddie before we continue, Paul.
Thank you, Eddie.
Oh, and he's saying about do we play Madden? And I used to I think when it first came out in PlayStation 1, Eddie. Giants finally fun to play with again on Madden, he's saying.
Good. Glad he's having a good time with Madden. All right. Your number three position for the Giants.
Sticking on the defense, and that's a good sign. If I'm sticking my top three, it's a good sign for the defense because that means, we're going to win some games with our defense again, if I'm correct on these rankings. Going safety. It's a small room. It's your spare room in your house. It's a small one, but it's a tiny, decorated man cave. You got Tyler Nubin back. You got Javon Holland coming over from Miami. And when we look at the Giants in the past, they've always had a good safety room these last few years. Mm-hmm. Expecting good things from Nubin year two. Javon Holland is a pro's pro. When you listen to this guy talk, you get excited because he's very educated. Football IQ is very high, it looks like. And I'm excited to see Javon Holland beside Tyler Nubin. And I've been very high on Dane Belton from when the Giants drafted him over from Iowa a few years ago. Mm-hmm. And he keeps sticking with the Giants. And he's going to contribute in some packages on defense and special teams. This safety room is going to be a sleeper room, especially if this defensive front can get to the quarterbacks the way they can. You may see our safeties have quite a few interceptions this year because of it. So give me the safeties as number three.
Nice. I love it. I went a different way. I went finally to offense, and I said, what group was upgraded? And listen, football starts with that quarterback room, and that quarterback. And I had to go number 3 to quarterback because I think the Giants did an amazing job upgrading the uh, quarterback position. You bring in the veteran, the savvy Super Bowl champ, who there's nothing with his experience that he hasn't seen before. You bring in another veteran, a 10-year veteran who has been very good at times with the Saints, certainly with the Bucks. And then you bring in a first round pick, Jackson Dart, who, and I know it's preseason, but every Giant fan has got to be excited to see what he did during the preseason. So at number 3, I think that position, that group of position group has been upgraded tremendously by the New York Giants.
I like that. That's good choice there. Like that, Paul.
Okay. Who's your number 4 grouping?
4, I finally moved to the offensive side of the ball, and I think our strongest position on the offense could be wide receiver. Wide receiver, you got Malik Neighbors, who's being ranked as maybe not only a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL, but a top 5 NFL playmaker in the NFL. His rookie year had over 100 catches. I expect nothing less from him this year with the better quarterback play. Last year, listen to these quarterbacks he had throwing him the ball: Daniel Jones, Drew Lock,
Yeah.
Tommy DeVito, Tim Boyle.
Yeah.
And the season that this guy still put out, if he has, let's say, Russell Wilson only, he's gonna the sky's gonna be the limit. If it's Russell Wilson and Jackson Dart, sky's still gonna be the limit, in my opinion. I think both of these quarterbacks are smart enough, and Jackson Dart's a rookie, and I think he's smart enough to know, because these 4 quarterbacks last year knew, throw him the ball, he's gonna make plays. But I got him at number 4 because of the underneath guys are back. Darius Slayton back, veteran, captain. We're going to get to captains in a moment. Veteran comes back. Wan'Dale Robinson back in the slot. And then you got a couple guys underneath. Jalen Hyatt may finally have that chance to come in and make some plays with Russ throwing a deep ball. He might finally have some plays for him. And Paul's guy over at Notre Dame, Bo Collins, rookie, made the team. So I think this is the best skill position on offense. I'm going to rank him number 4.
There's not much to add. I also had the wide receiver group as number 4. So congratulations. We both did a great job. You covered the wide receiver room very well. Nothing much more to add. And I think if we can stay healthy, the wide receivers are going to be an unbelievable group this year.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. Number 5. What position group did you have?
Here's where I got quarterback, right in the middle.
Okay.
Right in the middle at number 5, because is it the best quarterback room in the NFL? No. Is it the worst? No. You got a first-round quarterback who's going to be able to sit and watch some games, a few games at the least, before he comes in and takes over. We're hoping it's not until next year, because that means Russ is having a good year. Giants are having a good year. But you have 2 veterans with Jackson Dart. I don't think there's many teams overall that have a better threesome at quarterback, a trio. So to me, that's right down the middle, with ceiling being high with Jackson Dart ready to come in, floor not that low. So I'm going to say it's right down the middle right now at 5. Maybe we reevaluate that room at the end of the season, all these rooms, and see what changed, if anything, on here. Quarterback has best chance of changing, in my opinion.
Nice. Good. I went back to defense at number 5, and I think one of the strengths, in addition to the line and the outside linebackers, are the inside linebackers. As you indicated, we'll talk a little bit about the captains. Well, Bobby Okereke, I think, is going to have a bounce back year. He was good 2 years ago, not so good last year, but I think with the way the defense has been set up, Bobby Okereke is going to be set up to have an outstanding year. In addition, Micah McFadden, same thing. I think those two guys are going to light it up with the way the Giant defense is going to play. I think having a guy like McFadden, he's sort of an underrated. I think I once compared him to a Gary Reasons type of linebacker for the Giants. If you old timers remember Gary Reasons from the '86 and '90 teams, but I think McFadden and Okereke are going to play well. I also like our backup, Darius Musar, who was a 6th-round pick last year in the draft, and he's a great special teamer and even actually started a few games at linebacker when Okereke was injured last year. So I think that trio, and they also have Chris Board as a special teamer slash extra linebacker. So I have them at 5. And again, they're building a very good defense surrounding the offense.
Paul, let's do this. We're at the halfway point of our position groups. I have two
Okay,
questions from the audience, so let's hit them.
absolutely.
First one coming from our good friend Jody Moncrief, and I talked about the morning juice earlier, but you could check Jody Moncrief out with Keith Brugman. Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, new time, new schedule came out, 9 p.m. Eastern time. So watch K&K, and then you can flip right over to Denver Bronco Roundup shortly after our show. He wants to know, when does Jalen Hyatt take the next step, Paul? I'll hit that one because I'm going to give you the next question.
Okay, go ahead.
I think if you asked me, I thought maybe he was going to get cut this year because of his drops, but the talent is there. I think it's this year, Jody, and I think you're going to see it maybe as early as week 1 when he comes in the game. Russell Wilson taking some deep shots for Jalen Hyatt, because I think that's what Brian Dable saw, and I think that they're going to work on his hands, hopefully, and hopefully those drops are avoided. But I could see him taking that next step as soon as week 1, Paul. I'm going to give you our second question. It comes from another one of the Denver Bronco Roundup guys, Trevor Salzman. He's the Friday evening guy.
Hey,
What's up,
Trevor.
Trevor? Trevor's coming on Friday nights, sometimes mostly 7 p.m. Mountain Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. He wants to know, which running back, Paul, do you see stepping up to be the guy, Tracy or Scatterboo? He has to think whether it's Russ or Dart. The running game has to be a strength for the Giants if they want to be a playoff team this season.
I don't want to sound like I'm walking on eggshells with that question, Trevor, but I think it's going to be both of them. I think the Giants over the years have been successful with that package of running backs. Obviously, Tracy last year was a find in the 5th round, and he came on strong and wrestled the position away from Devin Singletary. I think Scatterbo, if he's healthy, and hopefully he has recovered from that hamstring injury, I think they're going to have a great combination. Let's see thunder and lightning. Let's see earth, wind, and fire again, and both of them can be used both effectively. Because don't forget, Tracy was a wide receiver who now converted to running back, so he has great hands. Scatterboo, same thing, running back, but also a great receiver coming out of the backfield. So they are not losing much if they are using both of them. And I'm going to say both of them are going to be very effective with the offense this year, with Russ running the show.
Love it. And let's do one more question. I love Keith's questions sometimes. I'm not sometimes. Keith comes up with great. He really thinks his
does.
questions out, and I love this scenario. So I'm going to give this one. We're both going to hit it, Paul. I'll let you go first because
Okay.
I think we may be on the same page here. Wilson starts 3-3, gets injured. Winston goes 3-2, gets injured. Dart goes 3-3, and you get into the playoffs. Everyone is healthy. Who starts the playoff game?
You got to go back to the guy who's had the experience, who is the quarterback who's led his team to a Super Bowl win. I'm going back to Russell Wilson as my quarterback. I mean, it's great to be able to see that all three quarterbacks have been effective, especially the rookie Dart. But if I'm getting into the playoffs, my best chance I feel is going to be with that experienced QB under center, and the guy that's been there, done that is Russell Wilson. So without hesitation, that's who I'm going with.
That's fun because I'm looking at that. That's a 9-8 record sneaking into the playoffs. Russ started the season, got injured, and he's been out, it looks like, for a bunch of games. I'm going Jackson Dart, Paul.
No kidding. Oh, are you
I'm gonna
really?
give it to the rookie. I'm gonna
Wow.
give it to the rookie because I believe in momentum. And if Dart's at the end of the season, Russ was only at 6 games at the beginning of the season. If Russ plays 12 games, then it's different. But we're only talking about 6 games. Winston played 5 and Dart played 6, and Dart got him into the playoffs. I'm gonna give it to Jackson Dart, the
Okay.
future. Get him that playoff experience early because 9-8, I'd be ecstatic if we got into the playoffs, Keith, Paul. Am I expecting playoffs? No, but I'm hoping we can get there. And if we can get there, you never know. So why not take chances with the rookie? Get him that playoff experience early
Okay.
and build for next year. So that's the way I'm going to go. Now, if he went 0-3 and got into the playoffs because the Giants got off to such a hard start, that's a different. But in this scenario, I'm going to go Dart. Great, fun question there.
Thank you, Keith.
And Roy saying, really? Dart? Oh, boy. Yeah, yeah, I am. I am. But all right, let's get to the second half of this position
All
group
right.
here. Paul.
What's your number 6 group?
6 is going to be offensive line for me. I
Hmm.
think the offensive line is all back with the addition of our Pro Bowler, Andrew Thomas, being back in the flow now. You bring back everybody from last year. John Runyon, John Michael Schmitz is back anchoring the center position. Uh, Greg Van Voten, and of course, Jermaine Illuminor. Marcus Bowe, our 5th round pick, had an amazing, incredible preseason, and he comes back. You got James Hudson, who we brought in as our free agent guy. Evan Neal sneaks in. We'll see what he can give you, but it's the first of my second half, the bottom half of my positions. I'm going to
Hmm.
go offensive line because I do think it's going to be better than last year.
Okay. I respect that. My number 6 is the running back room. Uh, Tracy proved that he is a very complete back. As we mentioned, he was a 5th round pick, and Giants saw something, and he certainly came on strong. You have the rookie Cam Scatterbull. We just mentioned it with Trevor's question. And then you have the veteran, Devin Singletary, who I thought they might cut and keep Turbo Miller. But I like the way this uh, room is being formed. I think they can complement each other, and I think they can come on strong. You have a young first year player, a rookie, and then you have the veteran. And I think those 3 guys are going to mesh very well, especially in the offense that we're going to have with Russell Wilson. So I rated them as my 6th best group.
Number 7.
You want me to go?
I've been going, right? You still want
Yeah,
me to
go
go?
ahead. Okay.
Linebacker for me is going to be number 7.
Okay.
And this position group can easily be in the top 5 for me. But depth scares me. If McFadden goes down and he's had some injury history, Okereke goes down. Darren Musau's a nice player, but after that, we don't have much depth at linebacker, inside linebacker. And that's pretty much my only reason for this lower
Hmm.
ranking for this group is I'm a little nervous about the depth.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. My 7th is, you mentioned the safety position, and I agree with you 100%. Bringing Javon Holland was a major, major improvement to go along with Tyler Nubin. And you know my feelings about Dane Belton. I think that kid could probably start for half the teams in the NFL, but as a third safety, him coming in, working special teams, and bringing him in as a nickel back or a dime back. I think he's going to be fabulous. So hopefully the line and the outside linebackers will put enough pressure, as you were indicating, that the safeties can come up big against a lot of the offenses that they'll see.
Okay.
Number 8.
Number 8, I'm going back on the defense again. This is my last weakest of my defensive groups here, and it's corner. Bring
Okay.
over Paulson Adebu, and I think he's got a chance to be good, really good. He was hurt last year. He only played 7 games last year, so that raises a concern. And then CB2, you got Tay Banks and you got Cordell Flott fighting for that CB2 spot. They're neck and neck, and sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes that's a bad thing. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping it's a good thing that these guys push each other, and maybe Banks, gets better because of it, and Flott betters himself because of it. Uh, After that, Drew Phillips. I like Drew Phillips in the nickel, and so uh, at the top though, I like Paulson Adebu. Keep him healthy. CB2, fight for the spot, make each other better. This group's got a chance of going higher, maybe in the 4 or 5 range
Hmm.
when season comes to the end. But right now, I'm going to have them at number 8 out of my
Okay.
position groups.
Okay. I agree. My 8 was looking at it as a collective unit was the special teams, the kicker, Graham Gano, the punter, and the long snapper, Casey Kreider. That unit has been together, aside from some of the injuries Gano has had recently, but it's been together for 3, 4 years, and I like them as a unit. I think if they can stay healthy, it'll be a big, big part of the Giants team this year. And I compared them to some of the other positions lower, and I felt they were a little stronger as a group than some of the other ones that I had listed below them right now.
And you know what, Paul, real quick about the special teams, because I didn't put them in, but Judd McEntee makes the practice squad. And
Hmm.
you say, why would you keep a kicker on the practice squad? But he came over from that international pool. He's our international player
Right.
that teams are allowed to have. And I think it's a smart move by the Giants to keep him on the roster, because if Gano, with his injury history, gets hurt, you got a guy practicing every week. You're seeing him at practice every week. If Gano is to go down, you know what you're going to get out of McEntee, and he's going to get the practice
Hmm.
if Gano was to go down, which he has gone down in the past
Yeah.
with some injuries. So smart move, I think, by the Giants keeping him on the practice squad.
Yeah. And as we've seen with the Giants, you never think about special teams until someone gets injured, and then all of a sudden, oh my God, now we don't have a kicker. Now we need another kicker. We have to go out, and it's Russian roulette sometimes with some of the kickers that have been recycled over and over again in the NFL. So I think that's a good point that you made about keeping him on the practice squad in case there is an injury to Graham Gano, who is unfortunately no youngster at this point in his career.
Exactly, exactly. I see we got 2 more groups, Paul, and then I'm going to hit a question, a fun one from Trevor after we do our last 2 rankings here.
Okay. Who's your number 9 group?
Number 9 has the biggest upside, but right now I got him. It might surprise some people. I got him at number 9 is running backs,
Mm.
because Devin Singletary comes back as the veteran, and where's he going to play? Is he going to be number 2? Is he going to be number 3? Is maybe Dable going to give him the start because he's the veteran? I don't know. Don't know what I'm going to get from Devin Singletary. Cam Scatterbo fighting a little hamstring injury. Do I think it's serious? No, but it's still a hamstring injury. Tyrone Tracy comes back year 2. He was our surprise guy last year. He's got to build off that rookie year. So I need to see it. I don't want to see struggles out of the gate. I am a little concerned, about our running back room to start because of the Scatterbo injury and Devin Singletary. But lots of upside with this room. This room can be over the top five. Maybe it can go as high as number three, number four seasons end for me on a successful year. But right now, I'm going to have him at the bottom with a lot of ceiling.
Okay. My number 9 was a group that has a lot of upside. It's the tight end room. Now, they kept Bellinger, as we mentioned earlier in the show. They let Greg Dulcich go. Perhaps it's because Theo Johnson might be nursing some type of injury, and they wanted to keep Bellinger, who's a veteran now, and is probably the best two-way receiver slash blocking tight end for the Giants. But the upside is the rookie tight end that they drafted in the 7th round, Thomas Fidone the second. You've heard us talk about him a few times in the last few weeks. This kid was rated the best tight end coming out of high school, the same group that Brock Bowers was. Unfortunately, Fidone suffered 2 major knee injuries over the few years in college, but he made the team. There's a big upside to him, and I think that's one of the reasons why they let Dulcich go. I think it's could be a very, very good group, especially if Theo Johnson comes around. Hopefully, his injury is not going to be serious. But I rated them as the 9th best position, with the idea that they could move up depending on how the season goes down the road.
Yeah, and uh, I'm gonna go. My number 10 is tight ends because of the Theo Johnson uh, injury scares. His injury history starting to scare me. Uh, Chris Manhertz is a good blocking tight end, but if you're going into the season with Daniel Bellinger as your starter, that's not a strength in my opinion. But you nailed it. That's why Dulcich was probably let go. But the upside again, which you nailed, Thomas Fidone could be the guy that elevates this tight end group from 10 to like 6 or 7 by the end of the year.
Mhm.
Uh, and when you want to talk about toughness, Thomas Fidone, little fun fact about Thomas Fidone, he gives himself he's his own tattoo artist.
Yeah.
I couldn't even go to a tattoo artist without flinching. He's giving himself his own tattoos. Talk about a
Right.
tough guy there. So toughness, I'm
Yeah.
not worried about with him. So I think I am excited about Thomas Fidone, though. All joking aside, I think there is some upside there. A lot of times when you say, "Oh, he's a 7th round pick," go watch him in his preseason highlights, and I think you would be excited too about what could
Okay.
be in store for his future. All right, let's hit Trevor's question, Paul. It's a good one. I'll let you rank them first. Most pressure on them this season. Rank 1 to 4, 1 being the one with the most pressure. Brian Dable, Russell Wilson, Joe Shane, Shane Bowen.
Definitely uh Dable number 1. I think uh, I would say Russell Wilson number 2. I think he knows it's one and done with the Giants, and he wants to play well in the hopes that he'll catch on with another team next year. So I think there's pressure on him. Number 3 would be uh would be Shane Bowen. Hey, they have the horses now. There's no excuses for this defense not to be better. They have to be better than they were last year. They brought in the defensive back. They obviously brought in Carter, um, a few other key players, Golston. So they've got to be better, or else I think he's going to go bye bye. And 4th would be Joe Shane. I think the last 2 drafts, Joe Shane has knocked it out of the park. They've been excellent. I don't think anybody can complain about these last 2 drafts by Joe Shane. So I would say at this point he has the least worry in terms of pressure.
Love it. Love it. Trevor, great question. I'm going to answer too. I agree with Paul on 1 and 4. Dable has the most pressure. Joe Shane, the least pressure, because Paul nailed it. Great drafts. I think you reward him with 2. We're hoping this is a good draft. We haven't seen him play yet, but if this draft lives up to its hype, it could be something special, in my opinion, for the Giants. You got to reward Joe Shane, give him another chance to find a head coach if you move on from Brian Dable. I'm going to flip flop Shane Bowen and Russell Wilson. Shane Bowen, I think, has a lot of pressure on him as a defensive coordinator. And you got this defensive front that's supposed to be the best that could be the best in the NFL. Dexter Lawrence, a top 20 NFL player in the NFL. You need to be a top 10 to 15 defense at the worst. I want to see a top 10 defense this year. So I'm putting a lot of pressure on Shane Bowen. And Russell Wilson, I'll say number 3 because he's been in the league so long. He's been to a bunch of Pro Bowls. I think there's less pressure on him. He knows, the Giants' future is Jackson Dart. So goes out and performs. I think with Russell Wilson could be that game manager we're hoping he will be. He'll be just fine over there, and I'll put him at 3. Good question, Trevor. Good question.
Thank you, Trevor.
We got about 10 minutes left, Paul. Why don't we do this?
Let me just finish my last 2.
I thought tight end was your last. I'm sorry. Right. You had the extra. You had the extra one. That's right.
Right. My last 2 were defensive back, and you went over the defensive cornerbacks and the upgrade with the Dabo, and the other side with Banks and Flott. And we love Drew Phillips. And my last 11 is O-line. I disagree with you in the sense that, yeah, we have them all back, hopefully. But again, they've got to prove to me that they're going to work as a cohesive unit. They're going to work together. They're going to help each other. This has got to be the most improved position group on the Giants team in order for the Giants to be successful this year. So let's hope out of my 11, they're to me still the weakest, but let's hope they improve, give Russ time, and open up some holes, and the offense will collect this year and stay healthy.
It's Keith's question real quick. Are you worried about Scadaboo's preseason performance? I'm not, because it was injured most of the preseason. Keith, I don't know if you agree with that. You agree with that, Paul?
Yeah. I'm going to let his last year in college speak for what he's capable of doing.
Same. Thanks for that question, Keith. Let's hit the captains real quick, Paul. We'll just announce our captains, and then we'll preview the game for the end of our show.
Mm-hmm.
Giants listed 5 captains, Paul. Chat, audience. Russell Wilson, no surprise there. Paul's got the jersey on. Man of the year. Nice team leader, I think, on the offensive side of the ball. I think it was a no-brainer. The Giants players picked Russ as one of their team captains. Their other offensive captain, they have 2, is Darius Slayton. And again, veteran guy comes back. Veteran leader in the group, can lead the position groups. Not only wide receiver, can be a captain to the tight ends and running backs, as well as the veteran of those position groups on offense. On the defensive side of the ball, Brian Burns gets a captain. Second year in the Giants defense on the Giants team, gets rewarded with a captain spot. And I love this pick, Paul. I love this pick, audience, because if you've watched him in preseason and training camp, he's teaching the kids. He's being like a mentor to these guys. He's being a leader, especially with Abdul Carter. And I love that, seeing that from Burnsy as a defensive leader. No surprise, Dexter Lawrence, team leader on the defense, gets a role. I think they nailed it with him being the captain. He's one of the most popular, if not the most popular Giant on the team. And last but not least, our team play caller, our leader on our defense, calling the plays. Bobby Okereke gets the 5th spot. Paul, you want to mention any of them? Anything you want to add? Those are our 5 captains headed into the season.
Yeah, totally agree with all of them. I think they all well deserved, especially someone like Darius Slayton, which proves because the players voted his position in the organization and on this team, how they look at him as a leader. So very well rounded in terms of the players that they selected as captains.
Great. Last, but certainly not least, week one is finally here. By this time, next Monday, we're going to know if we're 1 and 0, 0 and 1, or you never know. 0 and 1 if it's a rare tie. That being said, Paul, I'm going to let you give us a nice little preview on the game, and then I'll add anything that
Okay.
to your
Thanks, Kenny.
analysis.
Week one has been an interesting phenomenon for the Giants the last few years, but we won't go into that. We're turning the page, drawing the line, all new season, all new culture, and needless to say, the Commanders are coming off a spectacular year. They made it to the NFC conference title game against the Eagles. They hit a home run with Jaden Daniels as their rookie prize quarterback, offensive rookie of the year. Let's face it, it's a cliche, but the Giants, or it's going to sound like a cliche, but the Giants have to contain Jaden Daniels. Easier, of course, said than done. This kid is one of the top quarterbacks in the league already after one full season. Commanders will have or could have an explosive offense. They re-signed or extended at least Terry McLaurin, in my opinion, one of the top 10 at least receivers in the NFL. Almost, if you can almost call him underrated in what he has done over the last 5 years or so, with Washington teams that have underperformed, but he always seems to come up with his receptions and his yardage every year. They made a big trade. Deebo Samuel is a phenomenal pickup by them. He's going to be an all everything for them. Difficult to have him on one side. They're going to use him out of the backfield as the 49ers did, line him up all over the place. Curiously, the Commanders traded Brian Robinson, and I think allowing Deebo to maybe utilize him out of the backfield at times. Austin Eckler, great veteran, played with San Diego for most of his career, and played with Washington last year. Great receiver coming out of the backfield. He's always a pain in the neck. They also have another pain in the neck for the Giants, Zach Ertz, 12-year veteran. We've seen enough of him in the NFC East with the Eagles and the Commanders. So their offense could be amazing. On defense, they have some wily veterans, of course, led by possible future Hall of Famer Bobby Wagner, and they signed another future Hall of Famer, without question, Von Miller, who I think he's the active all-time leader in sacks right now, and Frankie Louvu, who is also a very good player for the Commanders. So this is going to be a very, very difficult game. However, the Giants' culture hopefully is different now, and it's going to be a lot of fun this first game of the year down in Washington. And let me tell you, for my dollars, it could set the whole season up. The Giants can win this game on Sunday.
Well said, Paul. I'm down here in the Maryland area. A lot of Commanders fans. They still call themselves the Redskins and the old timers. They're excited about their team. I will say this. If there's a team that maybe can come out that, week one, a team that may come out flat come week one at the start of the game, you might catch this Commanders team flat. Trading away Brian Robinson, Terry McLaurin recently signing. Maybe the timing's not there yet with Jaden Daniels. Deebo Samuel, first game with the Commanders. Samuel Cosme, one of their offensive linemen, one of their good offensive linemen, hurt. You may catch this Commanders offense a little flat to start the game. Last year, the Commanders won both games versus the Giants by a total of 8 points. Got to expect a close game. Defense looks way better on paper for the Giants than it did last year. I think that's going to be the difference in this game, Paul. I think Russ will be the game manager that we need him to be. I think the Giants will win a hard-fought game. I'm going to throw my prediction out and we'll let you have your prediction last,
Okay.
Paul, to wrap the show up. I think I'm a believer in momentum, and the Giants are having fun in preseason. I've never seen a team have more fun than the Giants. And, this is a team that's coming off a 3-14 year, but they're having a blast, and they were undefeated in preseason. Flat, hope Commanders come out flat, Giants come out strong. Giants hold on late, 20-17. And we go 1-0, Paul. Let's go.
I love it.
Here's your birthday present from the New York Giants. An early prediction of 20-17. Next Monday, we'll be celebrating a 1-0 victory heading into week 2.
I love it. Let me just add, the Commanders brought in Laramie Tunsil, a really good offensive tackle, to try and keep Jaden Daniels standing upright. But that being said, let me just say this. Coach Breslin, I love you, respect you very much. But like I said, the Giant culture has changed. I agree with Kenny. I think the carryover from the preseason is going to be what is going to help the Giants in this opening game. And I also see a close game. Giants and Commanders, Redskins, whatever you want to call them, they always seem to play a lot of close games, whether it's up here in New Jersey or down there in the Washington area. So just like you, Kenny, I see a close game. My prediction, Graham Gano kicks a late field goal. Giants win 23-20, and they come away 1-0.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So we both have the Giants 1-0 heading into week 2. Let's go, Giants. Paul, some quick final thoughts, and then we'll see everybody next week.
Fun show, Kenny. Thank you, my brother, from another. Appreciate the birthday wishes from everybody. Thank you, everyone who tuned in today. The questions were fabulous. I can't remember everybody, Trevor, Keith, everyone Jody, everybody who joined in tonight. Thank you again for all your happy birthday wishes. I appreciate you all. And we're looking forward to football finally.
Keep throwing a fair prediction out. 24-16 Washington. Sorry, boys.
That's all right.
Hey, when you're 3-14, I expect a lot of people to pick against us. So let's go. Let's go. Prove Keith and a lot of people wrong, Giants. We'll see everybody next Monday. Paul, happy birthday once again.
Thank you.
Let's hope the Giants give you a nice birthday present on Sunday and give all us Giants fans something to be excited about as well. See everybody next week. Have a good one, everybody.
Good night.